So I was walking by Jabi Lake and I couldn't help but notice something. This is an airboat. It's basically a flat bottom boat with a fan behind, and this thing sparked something in me, and I had to have an attempt at building it. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Recently, I've been speaking to a lawyer concerning my job and this YouTube channel. So I had to sneak in a question. Can I make an RC boat? Let me give you background on this. Back in high school with my friend Abdullah, he's gym techs on Twitter now. We used to make drones, and I mean we tried to make drones. The truth is we could never get controlled flight. Like we had some takeoffs, but we couldn't really control them. But the point was, just a year after, when I turned 15, it became illegal to do that. Here's how. Nigeria passed some drone laws which made it illegal for anyone under 18 to even attempt that. Then you also had to become a registered UAV pilot, which included some bureaucracy and money, of course. And then you also had to register whatever vehicle you had. So if you're someone who was building something, you would have to go through the registration process over and over again. And lastly, the worst one was that you would have to register your flight plans, and your flight plans for every time you're going to fly, what you're going to do, exactly where, the path, the order, and you'd have to do that again and again. And of course, all of this would take a lot of money and a lot of this is just anti-innovation, right? So that's why I asked this question: can I make an RC boat to get over these rules with this? And yes, I can. So I started by taking apart an old fan of mine. This wasn't working, and I was supposed to discard it, but I knew it would come in handy for some reason. So yeah, say no to e-waste. So this is a cheap remote controller. It's analog, so I'm already regretting this. And we have some documentation here. The transmitter sends signals, and this should receive signals when powered. Wow. I've actually opened this before, and I wrote this down because I realized that these labelings were wrong. Yeah, so M3, it's actually the other way around. It's switched. It says this is the power outlet. This one. We'll take this out and connect it to the battery. I would like to use M1, right? This control this, and it says M1 with 1 is here, but that's not what we're going to see. So this is M3 right here, which I've connected, and it's this button. If I had said, okay, I wanted to use this button M1 then that would be the one on top here, close to the one on this side. If I had used that, so let's see. No. Instead, this is the button. But the point is, as I said, M1 is empty. This thing is already, like, I already regret this purchase. It was just 20,000. Alright, so breadboard test over. Let's look at what we can solder. So what I want to do is have this battery power the fan but this lets me control the fan with the remote, right? But this has a limit of 1.2 amps, 2.6 volts to 4 to 6 volts. This is the battery I'd be using, and it's about 12 volts. Now to make sure this doesn't burn off, I need to reduce 12 volts down to 6 volts basically. So using Ohm's law, V equal to IR, 6 volts equal to I, which is 1 times resistor. So I need a 6 volt resistor. I don't know if that even exists, but I guess so. Oh boy. Okay, this is a tip 120. So the reason I had to get this one, not those tiny ones, is because for this number of volts you need a lot of, like, it can take the current from this. I'm just going to have to and then I proceeded to what is probably the world's worst soldering job. For buoyancy, I used some bottles, but the way I arranged them tightly will come back to haunt me in future. Confirm that the fans work and can be controlled with the remote, and it's time for a real test. Now, even with the fans switched off, this thing is way out of balance. The center of gravity, the CG, is way too high for this thing to be stable, so I could tell that it was going to flip immediately. While an airboat is meant to have a hull, I should have taken some inspiration from pontoon boats, since I was using bottles. So I think I'll change the design. Akuneke, now the battery. So one be mutuwa. Funkon kuma. Yawa, funkon kuma gashi ya mutu. Kada. Ada. Yeah. So the fan is dead. No, this from here is stuck. Boy, tar, black. Can I remove it? Happy Sunday morning, guys. Yesterday was terrible. It was a disaster. And I feel bad, as always. But today is a gift, which is why it's called a... So here's the idea. Instead of having these together, like this, I move them apart, being more like a pontoon. Yeah. And I have this instead. How about that? So this time, I'm using an actual RC motor, and it needs to be screwed onto a solid platform. I'm marking the spots that I would have to drill. Alright, this costs 200,000 excluding shipping, and this is the receiver. So this would send signals into this, which is powered by the battery I just set up. And this is the ESC, controls the speed of this motor, but also sends power from here into this. So yeah, but this is 200,000. The receiver itself is about 40,000, and yeah, this is what I've been spending my salary on. I think my middle name is Relentless because it's raining right now. Well, it was raining seriously. I just had to make sure I made this video today. So yeah, there's nothing stopping me. No one's stopping me. That's how I'm going to think from now on. Two questions I have is first if it's going to be balanced, and if it's going to stay balanced. If it's going to stay balanced while moving, Now the fear I have is that this front, because it's a drone propeller, right? So I think this might be too heavy and might tip forward. I don't know how it's going to roll. So we're just going to see. Yeah, so far it's more balanced than before. I like what I'm seeing. It looks controllable. It's heavy. It's nose heavy, so it's touching the water. I can hear the noise. Yeah, it's hitting water. I need more weight at the back.